All right, so in the beginning, there was dog. This happens to be a Carolina dog, which is kind of a pariah-y looking dog, but that's what dogs probably look like. And the way dogs normally behave in the wild or in the just kind of dog is they're very social animals. They cooperate for the good of the pack. Some of I think Michael Fox said that it was inevitable that dogs and people got together because we have the same social structure. So people wanted dogs for livestock guarding and herding, for hunting, for defense, for fighting, for companions. They had a wide variety of things that they wanted their dogs to do. And so they started to kind of breed dogs for that. And as we did, the appearance of the animals changed. Their appearance, their behavior, and some of their needs changed. So for instance, if you were a farmer, and I use this all the time, but if you were a farmer in a part of Belgium, and you had a really good herding dog, you would mate it to another really good herding dog, and their offspring would be very good herding dogs. And then you would have a tendency to breed those dogs to other herding dogs. So, and in the end, you would get a look. So in the case of being in Belgium, you'd probably get a Tervuren from one area of Belgium, or a Malinois, or a Malacanois, or a Gorendal, right? You'll get one of those because they all just come from different areas. And they all have breed characteristics that are very unique to themselves. To prevent bad behavior, specifying play partners, and that can be difficult. Sometimes people want to meet at a dog park at a specific time of the day, just with the people whose dogs play well with their dog. That's certainly an appropriate kind of thing. Or try to meet and greet. Actually, it would be a lot of fun to have a class or a workshop or something where everybody brings their dogs and you say, okay, now this dog can play with this dog, and that dog can play with that dog, and this dog can play with any dog. It would be kind of cool. I don't know how you'd quite work it, but it might be interesting to do. And particular canine friends, obviously, are pretty important. Okay. Raising a herding puppy as a pet. This is not a working dog. Working dogs are very, very, very different. First thing is to do is not to get a singleton puppy. And sometimes it's hard not to, except for owners. They don't know that they're getting a singleton puppy. But singleton puppies, they do not know how to handle frustration. And this is singleton puppies of pretty much any breed. Can't handle frustration because they don't ever get frustrated. It's like having an only child. They get everything they want, they get it when they want it, and so when something thwarts them, they throw tantrums. And a canine tantrum can be pretty iffy. Then, among other things, just the normal stuff, the puppy should also be taught that she doesn't own the owner. Very difficult to teach because many owners love it. They like the fact that their dog is protecting them, or they like the fact that their dog is always coming back to them. But these are the dogs that you might see in a dog park that as soon as another dog comes close to them, they go and get in between the other dog and the owner. And that's not a good behavior to have. So you have to be very careful about teaching them that they don't own the owner. And one of the ways to do it is not to punish the dog, because punishing will backfire on you in this case. It would be if you're petting another dog and your dog comes up to get petted, that you pet both of them. And in fact, that might be the time you give them treats, when the other dog is there, not at another time. Does that make sense? So what you're doing is you're saying, I have plenty of cookies, I have plenty of everything. I always figure the best way from my point of view to raise dogs is to teach them that I not only hunt down all the kibble, go out and shoot that kibble tree and all that kind of stuff, but I also there's plenty to go around, and there's more than that where that came from, and there's more and more and more. So they never think that there's only so many resources to have. And I like that approach much better than the, well, we only have a little bit of this for you, and a little bit of that for you, and a little bit of this for you. So their temperamental tendencies would be highly, highly territorial. They're very suspicious of strangers. Very bonded to their owners. These are dogs, in most cases, that will bond to the entire family, and they will protect the entire family. So lots of people think that dogs are, that they're being protected by their dogs, when actually they're protecting their dogs. In the case of many, if not most, of these dogs, they really are being protected by their dog. Their dog is actually stopping something that they perceive to be bad happening. So you can generally tell, the easy way to tell, is if the dog goes behind you, you're protecting him. But also, if a dog kind of plasters himself up against you, then you're protecting him, he's not protecting you. If the dog is out in front of you and someone makes a move towards you, the dog is likely to be protecting you. So, I mean, and they very definitely do. They are sometimes overly protective of children, which means that if other children come over to play, these dogs might be protective of the kids in the household against the other children. Some dogs are just wonderfully tolerant of all kids, but a lot of them aren't. And this is a good time to say that an awful lot of dogs, whatever the breed, are far more either fearful or suspicious of men than they are of women. Yes?
I was wondering if when a dog marks, if he's on a walk and he's marking the neighborhood, that becomes part of his territory as well. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I make it a habit not to walk my dogs in my neighborhood, period. I take my car and drive someplace else. I do not want them extending the territory. And as I said before, I don't really want the people in the neighborhood to know that I even have dogs, much less how many there are. But if they mark, for sure, they're setting territory. If they're a female, they're marking. If they're a neutered male, if they're an intact male, doesn't matter. There was a question over there, Adrian. Yeah, absolutely. So at the very least, you should let your dog mark in your yard and then drag him down the middle of the street until you're far enough away that he can urinate again. Just not all the way down the street, because they're setting territory. They're absolutely doing